Hi everyone. I can recall that morning with the terrible clarity of a photograph, the kind that refuses to fade. It was early morning, the kind of hour when the world is not yet awake and the prison seems to hold its breath. On night shift, we moved through the routines that had become muscle memory, the head count, the lift of the hatch, the sweep of the torch. But that morning, something fell off. I started at the first cell, as I always did, reading the names on the door frame, checking for the small signs of life. 2 men moved their blankets. Routine. I moved on. The next cell had no name on the door frame, a small red flag. I lifted the hatch, shone my torch, and my pulse jumped. A bed was neatly made, but there was no one in it. Then I saw a body at the rear of the cell. Head leaning forward, half turned, knees canted to one side. The floor was wet below his feet, but it wasn't water, it was urine. Panic rolled through me like a physical force. I called for help. I switched on the cell light. The sight hit me like a punch, a bed sheet fashioned into a noose, tied around the bars of the window, the fabric having cut into his neck. He had used the weight of his own body. I opened the door. Every second counted, and none of them seemed to be enough. We cut the fabric free from around his neck and gently placed the young man into the wing to give the paramedics space. Hands working in tandem, we did CPR until our arms ached. It was the first death I experienced in custody. The paramedics did everything the books said to do, but in the dead quiet that followed, when the last machine fell silent and the wing held its breath, I understood with a sorrowful certainty that it was too late. He was gone, so young. A kid who had walked into that prison with a name and a life, and who walked out of our control into something else entirely. Now that image has never left me. I have replayed it in my mind 1,000 times. The way the sheet bit into his skin, the wetness of the floor, the sterile bright light of the cell, the sound of the metal door groaning as it opened. It felt as if time stretched out and then snapped back, leaving me with a truth I could not unlearn. This job asks us to hold both authority and humanity in the same hands, and sometimes the weight is unbearable. This was not the last death I witnessed, but it was the first that taught me how much our system strains the people inside it and the people who guard it. It taught me about limits, the limits of procedures, of manpower and of human endurance. It taught me that names written on doorframes are not merely data, they are reminders of lives that matter. We train for incidents, we rehearse the steps, but no training insulates you from the hollow ache that follows. What remains is the memory, the duty to remember, and the responsibility to act, to demand better staffing, better mental health support for those inside and those who work within the walls, better systems that prevent these mornings from ever happening. I remember that morning like it was yesterday, and I cannot let it be just a memory. Thanks for listening, and please take care.